Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of Favorite Album of the Year. Today, we are at 2004. Almost halfway through the first 10 years of 2000. Y2K years. Y2K and forward. Anyway, another good chunk of releases here to choose from in this particular calendar year. My number one, not that hard of a choice. When this particular album first came out, I had never listened to this band before. It was only their second album, and I was instantly into the sounds coming from these guys. It's kind of progressive metal, kind of sludgy, kind of doomy. You can hear little hints of hardcore. Big sound, huge guitars, thunderous drums. Vocals that some were clean and melodic, some were kind of like sort of growly, barky, kind of in a hardcore way. The band would kind of move away from these type of vocals on future releases. But an immense album, very epic in scope. Basically, it's somewhat of a concept album, which once I reveal who it is, you'll be like, oh, yeah, that one. So I'm going to kind of jump right in and divulge this one, why don't we? So released August 31st, 2004, produced by the band and Matt Bales for Relapse Records. I'm talking about Mastodon Leviathan. First of all, that artwork from Paul Romano, if you follow lots of stuff on Relapse Records and, other metal releases of this era here, Paul was a pretty prolific artist doing all sorts of artwork for other bands, and that's pretty spectacular. So again, mainly a concept album about, obviously this is the Moby Dick character, right, and all that kind of stuff. Some great songs on here. Again, this is, I think, they had an album that came out before this called Remission, but that only hinted at the greatness that would start with this album and would kind of continue with the band going forward. I mean, these guys would become darlings on the metal scene, and they would move into even more proggy waters after this, while still retaining their heaviness here. So some just really huge sounding, and the production on this is immense. It's just a great sounding album. It's so heavy, a lot of grooves. It's proggy, Blood and Thunder, I Am Ahab. Just mountainous riffs on this album. Sea Beast, Island, Iron Tusk, absolutely killer. Megalodon, Naked Burn, Aqua Dementia, Hearts Alive, and of course Joseph Merrick. To round it all off, the album is just as immense as the cover art. Get a nice package all the way around. First time I heard this album, I was just completely blown away. And I still am pretty impressed with this album, although they have released better. Okay, it's like these guys went on a roll for probably like about 4 albums after this, where there were 3 or 4 where they could basically do no wrong. They had a little bit of slip up, and they've kind of come back to their kind of prog metal sound after diving into more kind of mainstream metal type of things for an album or two. But between Leviathan and the 3 albums that came after it, just the absolute peak of Mastodon. Just great playing, great songs, great production. Love it. That's my favorite for 2004. My runner-up, I'm going to go to a live album by a veteran band, and this would be the last thing they would release, either studio or live, officially. And that's One Way Out by the Allman Brothers. Double disc set. Fantastic. Everybody talks about the classic Fillmore live album at the Fillmore, released in 1971. And, was it 70? 71? 71. And it's legendary for a reason. It's one of my favorite live albums of all time, I'm telling you. There's no doubt about it. However, this is pretty sensational. So this, again, is the latter period lineup of the Allmans, featuring, obviously Greg Allman and Warren Haynes and Derek Trucks on co-lead guitars. Fantastic, I might add. Got J-Mo and Butch Trucks. Got Mark Quinones. Okay, you got, I'm forgetting the bass player's name. Holy moly. Oteil Burbridge. Sorry. Fantastic player. And a lot of classic Allman's tunes on here. You got a lot of the songs that were on the original Fillmore album and a lot of the later stuff. Statesboro Blues, Don't Keep Me Wondering, Midnight Rider, Rockin' Horse, a great, more recent Allman's tune. Desdemona, Trouble No More, Wasted Words, Good Morning Little Schoolgirl. You got Instrumental Illness, Ain't Wasting Time No More, Come and Go Blues, Woman Across the River, Old Before My Time, Every Hungry Woman, High Cost of Low Living, Worried Down with the Blues, Dreams, and of course finishing it all up with a massive Whippin' Post. A fantastic live album. If you haven't heard it, if you kind of never really listened to like latter day Allman Brothers post the reunion in 1990 and so on, man, you're missing out. Check this out. The sizzling live album. They released like a handful of live albums during the 90s and the early 2000s, and they're all really, really strong. And of course, there have been stuff that's come out, post their retirement and, Greg's death and what have you. But this one's pretty damn special. Pretty special. So anyway, there you have it. Mastodon is my favorite of 2004, followed up my runner-up by the Allman Brothers Band. List your picks down below in the comments section. Curious to see what everybody comes up with. Your favorite, your top 3, your top 5, your top 10, your top 20. I've seen people post more than that, so whatever you want to do. So, no right or wrong answer. Remember, everybody's got their favorites. Everybody hears these albums differently, so curious to see what everybody is picking. God, we only have 15 more days of this, 15 more years to cover. And of course, we're going to move on to another show format. And that's going to be a deep cut dive. So that's coming up over the next couple of weeks. Going to be doing lots of those. So stay tuned for that. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. What is coming up, you might ask? Well, coming up momentarily, we're going to rank the studio albums, a short catalog of the great U.S. doom, stoner, psychedelic rock metal act Down, as well. Going to rank the studio catalog of Sweet in memory of Steve Priest, who we lost yesterday. So it's going to be kind of a little tribute show to Steve, as well as a ranking of the Sweet catalog. So you don't want to miss that. Stay tuned, and we'll see you shortly. All right, bye-bye.